The first thing you should know about my friend Mrs. Filholm is that she has a birthday coming up. For those of you following along at home, Mrs. Filholm will be 51 years old, which totally ruins the half my age math. For the next few weeks, Mrs. Filholm will be more than twice my age until I turn 26, at which point arithmetic takes over. I will never be half her age again. The next thing you should know is that I'm proud of Mrs. Filholm. She made a lot of big changes at 50, using the Seinfeld recommended Band-Aid method. She made the changes quickly and decisively, like pulling a Band-Aid right off.
That's a nice one, Andrew. But I thought about that. Our show.
We'll have to decide if we want to rebrand.
Or just quit.
Uh-oh.
All right, here we go. The first thing you should know about my friend Andrew is that he pays someone to cut his hair. Every few weeks, he goes to a salon, makes small talk with his stylist, pays and tips her, and comes out feeling fine and fresh. Yeah, I know that's pretty normal behavior, but it's not what I do. The next thing you should know about Andrew is that this is just one of the many ways we are different. He and I regularly have opposite responses to the ins and outs of this thing we call life. I cut my own hair for a variety of reasons, but most of all because I'm the 50-year-old child in this equation, and he's the half-my-age adult, at least for now.
Welcome to Half My Age, a weekly show in which a 25-year-old adult and a 50-year-old child help each other make sense of the world.
Oh, when does this actually come out? You've got a calendar?
Yeah, I was looking
You
at
got a
it
show
this morning.
calendar? Is it like on my birthday? No, my birthday.
I've forgotten what day your birthday is.
I shouldn't have said that. Probably will take that out.
Okay, so let's see. Today is the 10th, 14th. This is going to come out on the 21st, I believe.
I will still be 50 years old.
Very
when
nice.
This comes out. Now is the time, though, you have reminded me it's this close to my birthday, that it is time for me to get back into Facebook and change my birthday to be in September. That's preferred protocol for me.
I like that. I like that life hack. That is a nice way to avoid some goofy messages from people you'd prefer not to think about.
It's not even, you know what? That's so rude, but it just, you know what the truth is? I've made the mistake before of not doing that, and just your day. You can turn off alerts, okay? That's the other thing. That would be the smarter thing, is that take the love from people, turn off your alerts. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't this year, because I am trying to get people to buy my book, so maybe, it'll put me back in their algorithm if I say thank you for them telling. That is so mercenary.
You could say, hey, FYI, my birthday's coming up. If you want to give me a present, go spend all your money on my book.
That's actually what I should do. What I want for my birthday. You know how it's so...
Buy one for you and 10 for your friends.
So many people do charities on their birthday, which is actually really nice. Like if you want to give me something, and I've done it. I've totally donated $40 on somebody's 40th birthday to the cause they're championing. And I think that is noble and kind and seriously noble and good slacktivism. It's a good, noble version of slacktivism, but I would rather people buy my book. That is the charity I would like you to give to on my birthday.
As they say, charity starts at home.
It does. And Andrew, I don't have a real big girl job, so that's charity. I'm a charity case. I will take your handouts.
That's what you should be looking at as you wind down on this book. You should be looking at how to get yourself labeled a 501c3 so that we can deduct all contributions made to you.
I mean, I take care of a lot of zombies. Oh, that's not true. Now I just flashed the camera on them. I was going to say, I used to sort of give safe harbor to sex workers, right, here on my property, but now I don't at all.
Did.
I'm the opposite now. I'm the enemy because I have a thing that flashes at them. Oh my gosh, I had a little clay party here in the backyard. Women in my neighborhood, ranging in age from 10 years old to me. It was so totally laugh out loud fun. But I have my camera triggered a little too sensitively because we kept setting it off while we're just playing with clay and drinking wine and moving back and forth at the snack table.
10-year-olds drinking wine.
No, that's not what happened actually at all. Anyway, so there you have it. We are no longer, pretty soon, it's not going to be half my age. That's such a funny concept. For 2 months, she's not going to be twice my age. Well, she's going to be 51 and I'm going to be 25. That's very funny.
It's a weird thing because right now you're 50, I'm 25. So
right.
I'm half your age exactly.
Yeah, well.
And then hold on. For when you turn 51, I'm going to be less than half your age. And then 2 months, I'm going to spring forward and I'm going to be more than half your age and it's never going to happen again.
Never going to happen again.
Numbers.
Numbers, exactly. And also the construct of like, right, it's so funny to me, kind of childish that like, I'm 50. Well, I'm actually 50 and 11 months. You know what I mean? We're no longer.
We haven't learned our decimal points yet.
Exactly. I'm 50 and 11 months. But yeah, I know, numbers. So there you have it. I think that the concept is more metaphorical, Andrew, than mathematical. And I think we should keep doing our podcast.
Can you imagine how weird it's going to be when you're 100 and I'm 75 and you're going to be like, oh, you young people.
I know. I still think that about you young people. I was thinking about some things I would like your young people's insight into, but I can't remember.
God, that's what the show is supposed to be.
I know. Well, that's what it is. It's you and me. I know. Okay, so we do have to pay more attention to things like follow-up. Is there anything in particular? So, by the way, when I listen to our stuff, what we should be doing is fact-checking or apologizing. There's all kinds of stuff that I say, personally, that is just wrong. And I hear it, and I go, oh, I'm sure people forgive me or know what I meant or whatever. Maybe we need to start having a corrections corner.
Ugh.
Exactly. It just occurred to me. All I've been thinking about talking to you about, but I know that it's the least favorite topic of our listeners, although it is also where the podcast began. You don't have an iPhone anymore, but I just, without even consenting, as far as I know, like I got raped overnight by the new operating system on my iPhone, and it sucks.
I've heard bad things about it because I still listen to all those tech podcasts.
God. I can't stand it.
It seems like this one came out of the oven half baked.
I keep actually having to restart my phone because just apps that I use every day of my life just suddenly go janky. Like you can't respond to somebody. It's
I've been holding off. Previously when I worked a jobby job where my employer was responsible for my computer.
Yeah.
Our first notification of the day.
Jesus.
If my computer got messed up by some new update, that was their problem.
Yeah.
I can't work or whatever. But now my computer is my own responsibility, and I've opted to not upgrade to Catalina yet.
Same. So as always, I will wait for you to tell me when to do that.
Mm-hmm. I haven't heard. I know that iOS is particularly goofy this round of updates, but I haven't heard a whole lot about Catalina because I'm weeks behind.
I know, I haven't either. Well, and because at the WWJD event, the recent whatever the hell, that, it was about a lot of not that stuff. So that's what the tech guys have been talking about.
Right.
I'm so...
WWJD.
I am comforted by some of our tech favorites, podcast people, talking about predictive text, both on the computer and on the pocket computer, is not as good as it used to be. Because that's what I've been feeling. Like, I asked you once right here on the program, should I, uninstall my freaking keyboard options? Because it is bananas, the predictive text. And and then, I'm not kidding, it makes me, it gives me... I don't know, sense of normalcy or something. I'm not crazy to hear Merlin Mann and Dan Benjamin talk about it's just not as good as it used to be. Same with on the MacBook. Like there used to be a time that I felt that this computer in a stunning way could guess what I was, I felt known.
I wonder if they did some kind of hard cutover. This is right in my area of expertise. This is all machine learning and artificial intelligence stuff. And I suspect that they had some kind of back end powering this. They had a certain algorithm they were using that's training data is different than the old one used. So I imagine that as they cut over and get more people using this thing, it will improve. But you might be back to square one as it catches up.
Seems like it. I mean, truly. And it's not just this upgrade. It's been for a while. And I'm not kidding. It helped me to hear these guys going, no, I don't know exactly when it happened, but somehow this machine and these machines that used to just really, wow, how'd you know that my son's name was Augie? The first time you type your son's name, Augie, I don't know.
It tells you
7 years ago, it would say auger. It would guess auger, the word auger. And then it very quickly learned it. And it knew, or Augsburg, actually, Augsburg. When I remember, I don't know, 7 years ago, I remember that. But it learned it very quickly, and then Augie would pop up. It is stunning to me, some of the words that I type on a daily basis that it doesn't guess, or that it suggests. Oh my God. Anyway.
So do you use that a lot? You must.
No.
Or you would if it was working?
Actually, no. Can you turn it off completely?
I think you can.
That's what I should actually do, because what no, what stymies me is I'm going quickly and I don't notice the incorrect correction that it gives me and I inadvertently take it. Sometimes, I'm getting better at now noticing that because it's cucking me so often. I'm getting better at noticing that and going, oh, yes, that is the word I mean. Philadelphia, press it on the thing. So I'm getting better at that. Oh, also, my new upgrade has the slidey.
Oh, yeah, the slide keyboard. Do you like it?
Haven't used it.
My phone has that too, and I don't use it ever.
Your phone has it. I have seen people recently who have your phone who use it, and it's fascinating. I don't know.
It's
I should
fun
try
to watch, but
it is fun to watch.
I haven't spent enough time with it.
It reminds me of something very old school, BlackBerry-ish or something. There used to be more of that.
That's existed on Android for a long time. I think probably awfully close to the very beginning of Android. And there are some Apple people who are super excited to get it. But, me growing up with Apple and just switching to Android recently, this isn't in my canon.
Doesn't serve a need. It might actually be good for me because I do have big sausage fingers and maybe there's... Okay, also, you know what I just don't like? I don't like the camera app looks different. The freaking Facebook app looks different. And the camera app, there's actually a thing I cannot figure out yet. I'll look it up. I'll go Google. I get it. But just, why? Why does it look different? What is this in service of? Because really, I'm so used to editing right on my phone. Mm-hmm. I understand. The need for this is nothing. No, that's not true. I take a picture and write from my phone in that just camera app. I am pretty expert at editing things and knowing how to, including stuff for our show art. I know the levels. I know where to pick my black point. I'm different, gone, harder, different layout. Why? Different icons for the tools. Why? I am old. I don't appreciate it. Okay, there you go. There's an intergenerational thing. Do you think that is for the young people because they need it to be flashy and newer?
I think it's probably a corporate thing. Someone's got to justify their job at Apple, and they say, "Hey, we moved this button 33 pixels this direction, and now it's better for my thumb or your thumb, or probably their boss's thumb." And I suspect that a lot of these redesigns. We know that to be true. A lot of corporate projects are posturing and look at how important I am and look at this great work I'm doing. And I suspect that that's the same.
I suppose there's also a lot of research on, this color of, we're going to warm up this tone, this hue of this button because it'll make people want to eat more hamburgers or something.
Could be. Maybe that camera app's been influenced by foreign actors.
Okay. All right. Sorry. That's so boring. But you know what? The funny thing, and I all week I've been thinking, do not bring that to the table to talk about. It's specifically people don't like hearing about it. I do like listening to tech podcasts. Merlin Mann just reminded me something about my phone. It was just like a sweet little tool. And I went, oh yeah, that's right. So I do like it, but most people don't. But here's the thing. It is so much a part of my life.
Yeah. Well,
it affects my life daily and more than one time a day to be frustrated with this tool.
The getting new computers gave us an opportunity to make, it gave us one thing to talk about to start this podcast. Mm-hmm. And very soon, I think maybe by the time this airs, there's supposed to be another Apple event with computers. So the last one was for phones and cheap iPads.
And gamey stuff.
And this next one is going to be expensive iPads and Mac computers. Mm-hmm. So you and I are both facing the thing. Have they resolved our problems that we were screaming about a year ago?
But as you said even a couple of weeks ago, what we do know about it is either way, I'm not sure I'm willing to...
Sure, it's too soon.
Well,
we just laid out a lot of money on these things. We can't give them back.
Cash in and lose money and get the new file. It's not that bad. Merlin Mann described it as, you know what? And the truth is, lately my keyboard on my Macintosh Book Professional works 99% of the time. Well, we'll say 92% of the time. But the 8% of the time that it drops in the double E's and the extra O's and stuff like that makes it unacceptable, because then it means I have to severely edit and be critical about every single thing I do touching this keyboard. That's not the tool I want it to be, but I'm not sure, like you said, it's worth turning it in, going through the hassle, losing $500 or $1,000 for the new... I don't know. We'll see, won't we? We'll see. We'll see. But I'm disappointed. I also realize that my... Oh my God, you would be so disgusted. My computer hygiene is terrible. I need to go through and just delete things. In fact, I did that on Google Drive recently because I ran out of storage space. Mm-hmm. And I realized there's just all this photos and videos that I truly can burn. And I had them sitting in the trash, and then it was a matter of, burn and destroy. I don't know if I destroyed things that other people needed. Possibly. I don't know. I just did it, slash and burn, declared bankruptcy on that. I hope it's okay. My storage on my computer and my computer hygiene, terrible. I have said this before, and I don't quite understand why this is, but this machine is not as helpful as my last one. Like my last one, I could be kind of careless about where I stored things, and the search search function always found what I needed, and this computer, it's a little bit trickier.
I have a tip for that.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have your computer in front of you?
Yes.
So if you go to your system preferences.
Yes, sir.
And then you go to Spotlight. It's in the first row. Let's see. Privacy.
Yeah.
See the privacy tab?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
So you can add your whole hard drive to this privacy section, which is going to tell Spotlight not to index it so that none of that stuff appears in search. And then you remove it, and that's like a hard reset on your search. So it's going to go back. It's going to re-index everything. It's going to make sure that things are where it expects them to be. Sometimes your Spotlight, which is the Mac version of search, sometimes your search gets all screwed up when you move a lot of things around very quickly. So you can do that. You don't have to do that now. You can do that offline.
I'm just looking at it. So you're saying I should take my hard drive, put it in there, forget it.
Yep.
Then reinstall?
And then just remove it. So just using the plus button, you add it to that list, and using the minus button, you take it off that list.
But then re-put it on the list?
No.
Leave
it off. So
leave it off.
What you're doing is you're saying, do not index the hard drive.
Uh-huh.
And then it's gonna
forget the index.
It's gonna forget it, and then you add it again, and it's gonna rebuild.
That's
it
what I'm
scratch.
asking. How do I add it again? Where do I add it? Right here?
You just take it off the don't index list.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
No.
So you put it on this list to tell it not to index it, and then you take it off the list when you want it to index it again.
Is there a matter of time where it has to unthink about things?
I don't think so.
That's weird. Like just like that, drag it here, then undrag it?
Yeah.
Boom?
Give it a try. You may be able to do it right now. Give it a shot.
No, all right.
Sounds like you don't trust me.
I don't. Should I put Dropbox there too?
Your Dropbox is a folder on your hard drive. If you put your hard drive there, everything on your hard drive.
I don't really know what that means. I just. Okay, we'll look at that afterwards because we're running into.
Can we have just a quick little computer lesson?
Yeah.
So your hard drive is a physical component in your computer, right?
I do know that. Mm-hmm.
And there are all sorts of different files and folders that make this thing up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dropbox lives on your computer. Your computer, your dumb machine, knows Dropbox only as a folder on the hard drive, right? But there's this code that runs in the background that syncs that folder with the cloud.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes,
can
and
you
same
see those
with
connections.
Yeah, and same with iCloud Drive, which is my old
Correct.
computer. Everything's stored there, and it's not on my hard drive unless I download it to my hard drive.
Your computer treats these things as if they were local files.
It does, including that iCloud Drive.
Mm-hmm.
But then when it does, it's stored on my hard drive.
So with iCloud Drive, there's an option to either sync to the computer or not.
Right.
If you're not syncing, then it's doing some kind of back-end wizardry. But you can still access those files in your Finder as if
they're on my computer.
As if they were local. And
I agree.
It's
I
just
see
reaching
that.
out and grabbing them as you need them.
I don't love this conversation because it makes me look so stupid, and I posit myself as being pretty tech savvy, but I'm going to continue. So if I press the plus, what I see is, now I see applications. Don't want Macintosh hard drive. Lisa's MacBook Pro. Which of those?
The Macintosh
there
HD.
We go. Boom. Put it in there.
Yep. Click choose.
And then do I want to prevent Spotlight from searching? Yes, I do.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, now I think you can just go highlight that thing in the list and click the minus button. And I think that's going to trigger a re-indexing.
Okay, cool. I'll let you know because it was janky for me from the minute I started. Okay, that's great. Thanks, Andrew. That's helpful.
Talking about hygiene for one more second.
Yeah.
If you go into your Finder and you go back to that Lisa folder,
Finder. See, that's the thing. I don't know where to find that in my Finder folder. That's where I was stuck earlier.
Okay, so if you're in Finder, in the menu bar at the very top, click Go, and then click Home.
Oh. What?
That's going to take you to your Home folder. which is the same as Lisa.
I see.
Kind of confusing.
How do I do that without pulling down that? I mean, I understand right there it told me I can do Command H, but I'm confused about how to get backwards in this display screen.
I keep that in my favorites sidebar thing. So if you go one level higher than home, if you go to computer and then Macintosh HD and then users.
Yeah.
Okay, then you can drag, once you're in users, you can drag Lisa over to your favorites in the sidebar, and that'll leave your home folder in the sidebar. And you'll notice in that Lisa folder, you've got things like movies, music, documents, pictures.
Mm-hmm.
You'll also notice Dropbox. This is where Dropbox expects your Dropbox folder to be.
Mm-hmm.
So don't move it out of here.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. You're gonna cause it to be sad.
Okay, that's real boring. Got anything else interesting?
I want to talk to you. I've got some questions for you because of your former employment a long time ago. Mm-hmm. Today is an awful weather day. We had a freak blizzard in the middle of October.
The highest form of discourse is weather. The second is computer technology.
That's right. Today is
killing it.
A banner episode.
But it's true. The weather right now is noticeable.
Yeah, normally it takes me
Remarkable.
25 minutes to get to the dollhouse, and today it took more than an hour. And they've been talking about this storm for at least a week and a half. And 225 is just a sheet of ice. It's so bad. And I wanted I called you to tell you at 9:30 when I was late that I was on my way and I was close. And you immediately, as if you were still in the trenches at the Colorado Department of Transportation, you said, no, it's not their fault. They've got 83 plows on the road. They're probably somewhere else. You may not see them. The mag chloride has been put down. The ice has been, they've done everything they possibly can. It's your problem, Andrew, is kind of how it came out. And I wanted to know, so like on days like today, when the weather's bad and the roads are bad, what's going on at the CDOT office?
I can't believe what I said to you was I can't believe they didn't put down mag chloride on that road because all I heard, and I don't have the news, is temperatures dropping, big storm coming. Mm-hmm. And you said there's no way they prepped that road. I said, okay, I will believe you on that one because mag chloride is a contentious issue. Then I said, Andrew, just because you didn't see a plow doesn't mean there's not a plow. And then I went into the standard copy of whatever it is. We have 86 plows in Metro Denver, and they are running, our drivers are running 12 on, 12 off shifts, and everybody's working really hard. And if you're living on a side street, you're not going to get plowed. We have to do tree. I gave the party line because in general, I believe in it. Okay, so what I'm looking at right now is in the CDOT news page from last night.
Okay.
Motorists urged to stay off roads after sundown because there's this big snowstorm coming in. They don't say like in the Denver area. They give some like it's, in fact, every direction out of town. It's going to get worse because it's always worse on the plains and in the mountains. And then it says motorists expect to see CDOT conducting a variety of operations to ensure safe travel. You specifically said I didn't see any of that. Mm-hmm. And echelon plowing, stay well behind the plows, do not pass them. CDOT strongly. So they did know. They're saying they're out there. They are plowing in the mountains currently. Crews on the Front Range are pre-treating roads, particularly on the I-25 corridor in the Lincoln area and south of Denver to Monument, as well as C-470 and other areas.
So they're prioritizing different roads than the ones I'm on. Is it?
Perhaps. I can't believe 225 wouldn't be also treated. But the other thing is that I think what happened, because right now, okay, so lots of things happen. It is hard to believe that they didn't, we all knew it was coming, and usually they're part of the, that's part of it. The news is going to trump everything up and make it a big deal. But CDOT is part of that. They're informing them. And we've got Doppler radar. Usually in wintertime in Colorado, they can almost pinpoint when that snow will start falling and when that temperature will drop. Mm-hmm. Every once in a while, something hits at an odd time and CDOT truly isn't prepared or does the wrong thing. I can't believe they actually weren't out there. It's just really bad. Right when you were coming this morning at 9:30 this morning, I shoveled the walk. I shoveled Rafiki's walk. I went to the backyard and just shoveled a path for us out here. It looked like I hadn't shoveled. In the backyard, I shoveled a path to the atelier for us, and I know for a fact that less than 20 minutes later, it looked like I hadn't, like you came out and you didn't even know which direction I had shoveled the path. Mm-hmm. It's coming down really hard and it's sticking a lot, which is surprising because yesterday was like over 60 degrees. So you
Right,
think that the
yesterday was
roads would be-
80.
Was it really 80?
actually
Oh, I
80
felt
degrees.
hot. Was it really?
Yeah.
Was it really? Okay, because I felt hot.
And
I kind of dressed
It went
for
from
fall.
80 to 15, I believe,
Wow.
was the drop.
So that just might be too much to
So
handle.
I was wondering, I mean, this is our first storm of the season.
Yeah.
I was thinking that, everybody knows snowplows hibernate over the summer, and I was thinking maybe only one or two had woken up. But you're saying that's not an issue. You're saying
don't think so.
they're always around and always ready.
I think so, man. I really do. I mean, I know that, I don't know, sounds like party line, but I worked there for over 5 years as a public information officer. So it was my job to go there. And the cool thing about a job like that in crisis communications is it's never your job to spin. If there's something you can't talk about or don't know, you say, I don't know, or you say, I can't talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's awesome because you're empowered to say only the facts. We would, in fact, get training.
Everybody should be able to say that. That seems like a no-brainer. And sometimes I wish people would just say when they don't know.
Correct. But there's so much of, quote, communications job where it is spin, right? We were also taught and trained and reminded often throughout the winter, we were not allowed to say the roads are dicey out there or take
you have
care.
to be very precise.
The roads are snow-packed and icy or snow-packed with icy spots. And we would never say, take caution, be careful. It would be please drive for conditions.
Mm-hmm.
We did say, or one of the people there, she did manage to put on, another PIO, she managed to put out there kind of a tagline.
What's a PIO?
Public Information Officer.
Uh-huh.
She managed to kind of spin this little thing, which I kind of loved, and people picked up. 4-wheel drive does not mean 4-wheel stop on ice. Because there are people who kind of macho on the mountain roads.
Absolutely.
Big 4-wheel drive. And so that was, so it was just this accuracy of communication. And I don't know if that's just that I'm a dupe or a believer or whatever, but 82 snowplows or whatever they have.
Right. I don't think that there's somebody sleeping in and enjoying the fact that people are having a hard drive today. But it kind of makes me wonder, come on, I'm on the interstate for Christ's sake.
I'm with you. I just want to tell you that everybody says that every single time. Also, every single time there's a snow, people say people in Colorado don't know how to drive. Hey, I've seen it all. That's how I know the storm was coming, is people yucking it up on social media going, hey, Denver, those of you who don't know how to drive in snow, you can leave right now. Or, it just feels like there's always that. And the truth is, the temperature dropped from 80 to 15 degrees and snow is coming down, as far as I can tell, at the rate of 4 inches an hour. Maybe we shouldn't be driving on the roads. Sure. It's going to be hard to keep up. And that is, it's not a magical wand they can wave. The other thing is that I have lived in other cities where they are less prepared for snow. Okay. Providence, Rhode Island, for example. When a snow like this was coming, I want you to know that this was back in the early 90s, but the town would shut down. A snow like this would be coming, and they would say, and we lived downtown and went to theater school downtown, there was a parking ban on the streets. When snow was coming like this, as soon as this flake started to fall, the law was move your car off the street. I don't care if you park there normally. I don't care if that's your legal parking space. No cars on the street, period. I once got in trouble for it.
Why is that? So they can plow?
That's exactly right. And also, they take it so seriously, and they have fewer plows and they are less prepared. And so they just shut stuff down and they kind of go, everybody, get inside, hunker down. You have no reason. It's insane, and cities can't come to a screeching halt like that. But there is a funny thing about living in a city like this where we are more prepared. We do have better response to snow than Seattle, but that also makes us a little bit entitled or whatever, that's a bad word, but thinking it makes us ballsy and thinking we can just go out and, of course, the roads are icy. The temperature dropped 90 degrees. That's crazy. You know what I mean? And the freezing part of that, mag chloride really is an issue. I don't know what I could have told you all about the policies back in the day when I worked there.
What do you mean it's an issue?
Because people think that it ruins their cars, and
Sure.
It does have some environmental effect on the sides of the roads. You can see, kills bushes, kills trees a little bit, and dirty and stuff like that. And people think it's bad for their engines and all that kind of stuff. So that's what I mean. It's controversial. It's the kind of thing CDOT wants to use with discretion. This was party line when I worked there. It's many years ago. But they were like, this is life-saving. We will use it. But yes, we will be careful with it because we understand what you're saying. So perhaps they treated the road you were on. Mag chloride also doesn't work beneath a certain road temperature.
Oh, is that true?
That's
I didn't
true.
know that.
Let's look that up.
Maybe it can only add 15 degrees of temperature or something. So if you're at 15, you're still only getting to 30.
Maybe. You know what? I think that is a true thing. endothermic properties and a lowest effective temperature of, -4. We're fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe the quickness of, I don't know. I'm certainly not a chemist, but I am not usually. You know what? I did work for CDOT. I'm sure they would really appreciate hearing this, but I worked for CDOT, and I generally think you sound like everybody, like the drivers whining about stuff. I bet they're out there as much as they ever are, and then maybe we need to have a discussion as a city, like maybe we don't have enough infrastructure.
Maybe we've got to allocate some more money to more plows, more.
Perhaps. I mean, maybe we just can't keep up, but I will bet you they are out there doing their due diligence, and this was a pretty wicked storm. We're sitting inside now for, I don't know, what has it been, half an hour or so? I'll bet I can't believe how fast that snow is coming down and sticking. And after an 80-degree day in Denver, that's actually surprising that the snow is sticking. You would think that
I didn't expect it to.
Me neither. I think they said, from what I heard, like people were saying it was going to be a bitch of a drive and it was going to be icy. So again, we all go out there, and maybe that was one thing we would say at CDOT is allow extra time. Please remember to drive for conditions. But a heck of a lot of people think that add extra time is like, okay, I'm going to leave a little bit early today, but also I have to now scrape my windows and warm up my car. So people are driving angry and road ragey just like always, and it's naturally slower.
So.
And it's naturally slower. I mean, sorry, I'm still calling a little bit of everybody's whiny and expects it to run like dry streets when we have an actual weather event going on. Take it easy, people. Where's the aloha, Andrew?
I don't know. That one thing that we get more so in October than we will in January is that people maybe if they're gonna have snow tires, they don't have them on yet. It's on 225, just the camber of the road. When you stop, you do a little, maybe you're going off to the right side because it is a solid sheet of ice underneath you.
Ooh,
yeah. So it's time to put your studded snows on. And I've got new all season tires on my car, but even that's not cutting it today.
I know. Yeah, today, and that is actually, honestly, it's pretty rare in Denver, Colorado that you need your studded snow tires. That is a couple of times a year we have an event like that. When I worked for CDOT, I was crisis communications, so I was necessary personnel, and there were a couple of storms that were so big, and I had not at the time the little cube, but like a Volvo or whatever. And probably wouldn't safe for me to drive into work. So they sent they sent a man named Bones in an orange jumpsuit and a giant rig to pick me up.
A man named Bones.
Big bearded guy in an orange jumpsuit and some giant Sea-Dog rig. It was so cool. I mean, I remember in one blizzard
that'll make you feel good. I'm
it
so
was
important. Cool. Bones is coming to get
me. Hell yeah. Oh yeah, I like that. And like I remember trudging through the yard. I mean, it was like shut down. School was shut down. Tal's work was shut down. And like the little boys and my husband watching me like trudge through literally a foot of snow, and then climbing up into whatever big rig this was, And then the different guy brought me home because I was working overnight shifts. So, you'd get one or two of those a year. Listen, weather is getting crazy or whatever. Of course, I don't have my snow tires on. I just said yesterday I'm going to Seattle for a week, so I'll probably leave the cube with George, my son, who also is a tire technician, and have him put my snows on. Remember, I was also thinking this is so funny because we were sitting right here in this studio where I said, it seems like yesterday, I said, George just reminded me to take my snow tires off. And that was when we started marveling about all the people I have taking care of me. And that must have been 6 months ago almost. It just feels like I've lived at the dollhouse. It's not even close to a year. It's 6 or 7 months. But it feels like the seasons. You know what I mean? Like here I am. This is, I don't know. The house feels still new. I haven't faced a full winter, but it just feels like, I know the seasons now at the dollhouse.
Right.
Kind of feels cool. Kind of feels more like home.
Almost one full revolution where you've taken the snows off. Now it's time to put them on again.
That's it. And then we're just at the beginning of that season. I have not had holidays here. I haven't had, I moved in March. So anyway, that was just funny. I was thinking, it seems like just yesterday George told me to take my snows off and now I got to put them back on. Man, I should have gotten them out of the shed. Now I'm going to have to trudge them through the snow. Boy. This storm came in last night, like, in a very cinematic way. The wind picked up, boom, and then it was windy. I mean, like, I was, in fact, trying to winterize the west portico. I put up some curtainy things, blah, blah, blah. I have
Well,
We've been discussing this, yeah.
I was still riding my motorcycle in high 70-degree weather at 6 p.m. last night.
And that's about when it started coming, wasn't it? The wind?
Yeah.
Were you in it? The wind?
Mm-mm.
You got in and then it started? Good.
Yep.
Because I was out there hanging curtains, and then the curtains were blowing around. Like, it became kind of a comedy, like a John Cleese Monty Python thing where I would put up a curtain thing to prevent it against the winter weather, and it would blow over and hit me in the head. It was pretty funny. It came in really fierce. And then, and also yesterday I winterized. So wait till you see. I brought in my roses just that were in bloom in the yard. It's like I have $100 rose bouquet on my table right now. Seriously, they're so, so beautiful. And I brought in the rest of the produce, knowing that everything was going to freeze. So we've been winterizing. But boy, it came in last night in this dramatic fashion, like, oh no. In fact, I didn't go do comedy last night, and I was kind of planning on it because I was like, I got to batten down the hatches. I need to be here. Hey, by the way, I did comedy this week, and I want to tell you something awesome. I was in the middle of practicing my clean set, and my mic turned off, and the jukebox music or whatever started playing in the middle of my set.
Did someone, was that intentional?
No. In fact, somebody else is like yelling to the host who's not fully paying attention. And actually, he said, is that you or me? He thought maybe I was like
playing some tunes into the mic?
Or like using walk-up music or something. But instead, I had to stand there. I just danced a little. Anyway, that was funny. Like, well, you just never know. But I was practicing my clean material. It's hard to tell how it went, but it was funny. It was fun.
That is fun. Are you excited for your clean debut?
Yeah, totally excited.
I'm
my clean debut.
Too.
I did clean comedy exclusively until the past 10 months.
This is your clean debut, and that this is a paid show.
It's not paid. It's a competition. It's a contest.
I saw it. Tickets are $14.
Oh, people have to pay to go to it, yeah.
Yes.
Same with New Talent Night. You're going to get free tickets because you're going to go on my thing. It's the same.
Okay. All right.
It's the same as New Talent Night. It's a little bit better because I had to be selected. No, I'm totally psyched. Are you kidding? I won't win or anything, but I'm totally psyched, and it's fun to think about. Now I have to put together 5 minutes, and which of the chunks will be, which is fun. Are you kidding? Of course it is. As I went to bed last night, I sat down and sort of mathematically went, this is the quickest way to get those laughs from this set. It's fun. So are you kidding? It's the best fun.
I'm excited to see it. I love that it's clean. I love that it's in my backyard. And I don't know. I've missed going to the comedy stuff just because I haven't done it.
Because you go to bed at 8:00 at night, and then you come bitching about how I didn't see a single plow on the road. You really are an old man.
Sleep is precious, and I didn't see a single plow on the interstate. Come on.
I'm telling you, that is so. You said the most typical thing that people say is like there are no plows out there. It's like the only evidence that really is that how you live in the world. The only evidence you accept is. Really, proof is visible. I saw a visible.
Correct.
This is empirical. I see a plow. Therefore, there are plows out here.
That's exactly what they taught me in Catholic school. They said, "Look at all the miracles around you, Andrew."
No, they said okay. They said accept a lot of things without having to see them.
I see. I must have been absent that day.
Maybe. Anyway, that's funny because that is like the 50-year-old man rant of like I didn't see a single. De-icer, I didn't see the... Oh, wait. What temperature does magnesium chloride stop working? Oh, you know
said
what?
-4.
But you know what? First of all, I was looking at a thing and I didn't really read it very carefully. Actually, listen to this. When the temperature drops below about 15 degrees Fahrenheit, the melting process slows significantly and may stop entirely. That's what I thought. So we are at about 14 or 15 degrees, and that is the limit of it. And that's exactly where you said we had gotten overnight. So the ice makes sense. But again... Now, on the other hand, this is where you see it's really a sheet of ice. That highway should be closed. Now, CDOT is not in the habit of closing down highways willy-nilly because, oh my God, you're going to get... Have you heard that right now California is shutting off power to millions
That's what I'm
people?
looking at right now. I've just been trying to think of ways to bring this up. And I understand that it's just because they don't want to light the state on fire.
That's right. And so, that's what I'm saying. In my mind, truthfully, if 225 is truly a sheet of ice, probably somebody on CDOT. Also, they've got cameras up and down that road. If people are slipping and sliding, they're seeing it. At a certain point, somebody's going to make the decision, close that stretch of highway. They don't make that decision lightly because people will freak the heck out, right? I can't get to work. God, the inconvenience that you cause a city, people freak out. So now, tell us about what's going on in California because talk about... And I heard some of their, boy, would you want to be a public information officer for them? They're just going, we understand. We actually understand the great inconvenience and actually safety and health threats, and you're going to lose the food in your refrigerators. We have to do this to keep the state from burning. What?
It's insane. And I don't know what's different about California's infrastructure than our infrastructure, but this has never happened in my 25 years of life, and probably almost never happened in your 50.
I don't think it happens very often at all. I mean, I think it's
such
totally
a weird thing.
We
We need to cut the power to not start fires.
Mm-hmm.
It's not we need to cut the power because there's a hurricane coming, or we need to cut the power because whatever. It's so dry out here.
We're a tinderbox, and we have seen it the last couple of seasons take out whole entire towns. We have seen people like private firefighting is growing in California.
How do they choose?
I don't know.
First of all, I don't understand what about this makes.
Have you read about it?
No, I haven't. I've only heard a little bit about it. And I've got the New York Times story open on it right now.
Well,
I'm just kind of skimming. Why is their infrastructure so fiery?
Bro, I mean, okay. Honestly, we have to look this up more without talking because of, in the past few years, seriously, Andrew, entire towns in California have just gone up. It's because of the land. It's because of perhaps, I think, global warming. I mean, changes in actual temperature, droughts.
Yeah, but every other city in the country has power 24/7, 365 days a year. What's going on in California?
Well, it's knowable. We have to read the articles. I mean, that's knowable. And it's not a light decision that somebody made, right? I mean, they're not making that decision. That's what I'm saying. And the public outrage that they're having to face, they are not making that decision happily. The people who are making those decisions...
You're protecting PG&E, but I think they suck more than most other utilities. And they're a public company. Come on, we can dunk on
Why
public
would
companies.
they want... I
don't think they want to. I think due to their ineptitude, they've lit the state on fire every year for the last however many years.
How?
That's what we're talking
Okay, we got to figure it out. I think that's... I don't know. It is insane. I mean, this is absolutely insane. Re-energizing. They're afraid that power lines are going to blow down and spark.
It makes me wonder. I mean, all those diabetics in California that have to have their insulin in the refrigerator. What are they doing?
No, I know.
Stock up on ice?
I mean, no, for real. Hospitals. That's what I don't get. And we can't talk about shit that we don't know because other people right now know about it. But like maybe they're not shutting down
by the time this
power to hospitals, right? We will know what happened. I don't know, man. I don't know. But I believe you that they didn't do a good job.
Yeah, there must be something. Maybe their towers are just blowing over and starting fires. I don't know.
Okay, so you're actually wondering why? Okay, I get
literally, why is it more of an issue? I mean, Colorado's been dry in the past, and it's never caused anybody to shut off power.
We haven't had fires as bad as they have had in the past 2 years. Seriously.
Yeah, but how do you decide that today's a power off day and
I
tomorrow's
don't
a
know.
power on
All right,
day?
we can read about it. That's got to be something we could read so deeply about. Come on. There's going to be everybody in the world is going to have a hot take on it. Go look at your Reddit. This is a knowable thing.
I'm looking at it, and I've looked at 3 articles from reputable news sources, and high winds coupled with low humidity. I mean, do the winds kick up and they're like, the winds are at 38 miles per hour. It's time to shut it down.
I don't know, but
I don't know either.
Find out.
I don't think we can.
Okay. Oh my God. Do you want me to? Do you want to take this as homework?
Yeah.
Are you interested in?
That's what they are. They're worried about high winds and low humidity. But think about all the places with high winds and low humidity that have power. Maybe you're right. Maybe they're just concerned these towers are going to blow over. But come on.
Or that lines are going to blow down. So what you're saying is, well, then why are your lines in your towers so freaking fragile? Fix that. So that you can provide power in high winds. I get that. I don't know the answer to that. But that also doesn't seem like like something you just fix overnight. It's the same thing. If Denver needs 86 more snowplows, cool. Now we know it. I mean, whatever. You don't.
That seems like such a bad solution. Is we're worried about fire, so we're going to cut off everyone's power entirely.
I agree. It sounds like a terrible solution, and I can't imagine that anybody is happy about it. Well, this says right here that the region rarely gets north winds, which blow for only a few days, just a few times a year, and can cause trees to topple or limbs to fall, often on power lines. Their concerns are forecasts of extreme winds with sustained speeds and all of this.
So
like
they're
Mountain Canyon.
concerned about trees near power lines?
The power outage may help prevent sparks, but recalling that several wildfires last year were caused not by downed power lines, but by human activity. That's what I wonder, if people are going to be lighting fires in their backyard to keep warm or whatever.
I think some of the fires were caused by PG&E electricians and stuff working on boxes and...
The company has been found responsible for dozens of wildfires in recent years, including the state's deadliest. Okay, which was Paradise last November. So we're a year out. You're right. That's kind of sick that they're going, okay, we don't want to be responsible for any power, so no power.
That's right.
For any fires, so just no power.
And even the trees near the lines, that's something that you're looking at or should be looking at all years. You should know that your power lines are safe and the high wind isn't going to kick up and burn the whole state down. You're
right. And they've had a year to look at this whole thing. So the other thing I guess I would think they would get more aggressive about is cutting down those trees. I mean, because, there was a windstorm 2 years ago in Denver that particularly, I think it was in the spring, and a lot of pine trees fell straight over. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It was like Christmas trees were just lying in the road. So these are these shallow root things that probably a tree expert or a power line expert could drive around and go, that's a liability right there. So maybe they should have spent the past year mitigating.
I know this stuff happens, but let's just play this through. For instance, they leave the power on, the tree falls on it, it starts a fire. Okay. They shut the power off, a tree falls on it, it doesn't start a fire, but they're still in the same kind of position, except people didn't have power for the preceding 24 hours.
I really think you're right that the sick thing here is the cover your ass. Well, we have been blamed on starting the worst fire in California history. Well, here's what we'll do. There won't be any power, and then we can't be responsible. You're right. That's pretty sick.
And they don't really have to worry about competition because it's a utility. Yeah. They have a government-mandated monopoly.
It's amazing. I would also like to talk about the freaking media coverage because, as you just said, your question is actually a good one. Why? Why are they doing that? I can't believe how many of the articles that I pull up from reputable sources like the New York Times, there is so much narrative here on the inconvenience of it all. And then they pick the exact stories like you're talking about. Somebody with dialysis, they have to keep, my father's on a ventilator. Bleep. I'm not
and it's not
throwing
like
shade.
It's not like we can't understand.
That's my point. We get the inconvenience. So I don't know why we're reporting on that. We don't get why it's really happening and what could be done different. I'm much more interested in that side of the story. And that's partly why I don't have news, because it's going to be 100 to 1, all of the inconveniences and everybody's personal hot take about how much it inconveniences me and how much they suck, instead of what's really going on here. Somebody's got to be talking about it, like Vox. Vox usually is pretty good at giving us the facts. I'm interested.
This whole thing reminds me of the smartest guys in the room. It reminds me of the Enron documentary where there's all these rolling blackouts in California because we've got day traders trading energy futures, and they've got a buddy who works at the power company. He says, "Shut it off so that my futures the price goes up." It's all.
I haven't seen the Enron documentary.
Oh, you should watch it.
What's it called?
It's called The Smartest Guys in the Room.
Okay, is it new?
No, it's from 2005.
Oh.
It's a good one. They showed it to us in business school.
Oh, cool.
It's just you know about Enron. It's just a case study on how greed and whatever takes over and causes all kinds of harm.
So what are you saying? This is like what?
So Enron was allowed to trade energy as if it was a commodity like corn or whatever. Mm-hmm. And we had in California, they had a power system set up that was supplying people's needs 24/7. And they decided that the Enron type people argued that this was a monopoly and that they should open it up to not only competition, but also I don't know exactly, but trading, and that you should have more. I don't know the how this all kind of went together, played out. But anyways, they opened up the utility thing, and suddenly now, as they introduced this competition and they introduced the opportunity to buy and sell energy, they start having these rolling blackouts throughout California that they never used to have because the plants that were responsible for producing the energy always had enough capacity up until that point. And the thing that was happening was you'd get an Enron trader who, they own some kind of energy unit, and they'd say, hey, I need you to shut off the grid for 15 minutes. That's going to cause the price of my thing to go way, way up because I have energy. People need energy.
Gross.
And it was this, greed run amok.
Mm-hmm.
But it's shutting off power. I've been to places that don't have power.
Right.
There are places in Honduras. There are places, throughout South America and Africa where power is a precious thing, and you might get it one day or you might not. Maybe
or rolling brownouts and I know. This. You're right. I mean, this is truly something we think that we can rely on.
Right. And in our first world kind of situation, we've never had to go without power. Maybe a tree does fall on the lines, but that's resolved in 24 hours. It's no big deal.
See, I'm looking at a picture of the Wildfire Safety Operations Center, and it looks very much like the Traffic Operations Center that I'm familiar with. It looks almost identical to where I used to work. I just don't know. I think that at first glance, what this feels like to me is right. We've never done this before. It is outrageous. We know that to shut off power. That's because perhaps something has changed here. Something has changed. This is bigger and badder and worse than it's been before, and we've got to fix it. I don't know. I mean, to me, it seems like that. It seems like this is some kind of terrible crisis if this is what it comes to. So let's figure out a different approach. And I don't know who the good guys or the bad guys are.
I think the thing that may have changed is exactly what you said, which is they were held accountable for previous wildfires, and probably the cost of remediation or whatever they were stuck with the last time is not worth. They'd rather have 3 days without power than they would pay this bill again.
That's kind of what I think, and I mean, because that's damaging their public reputation as much as lighting a fire. You'd think
they don't need the public reputation because they have a monopoly.
Correct. Yeah. No, I know. I mean, the thing is, but when you look, I don't know, when you look at the causes of wildfires, it's 84% of wildfires are like human caused, but that includes fallen power lines, arson, campfires. No, you're right. It seems like a real power move, doesn't it? Go, all right, fine. If you think we cause. I don't know what's going on there, and I'm curious.
And I think there's a lack of communication on their part. It seems like of all the people that should have answers, PG&E has the fewest.
Is that right? I don't know. I mean, I want to go and watch what their public information officer is saying. Either way, you know what job would suck? Being a public information officer in that case, because you didn't make that decision.
It's not your fault, but it is your problem.
Oh, it sure is. That's exactly right. It is your problem, and in a job like that, your job is, like I said, your job is not to spin and not to put emotion into it. So your job is to just give the facts. And in some cases, then you come out looking recalcitrant, when sometimes when they're just giving the factual information, we as a public, that doesn't feel like enough, partly because we're used to being manipulated by, let us tell you, the 84 stories of people whom this is affecting. And that's a lot of pathos. And then the public information officer comes out and gives only the facts, only the logos. We can't even, that feels like bad communication sometimes, even when it isn't. I don't know, Andrew, I feel like we got to cut a bunch of that because, God, we have got to stop spouting off. Could we talk about things that we know about sometime?
I don't mind sounding like an idiot on this because it's a quick event. It's going to pass. Nobody's going to care. By the time this episode comes out, people will be looking in their rear view and they're like,
exactly,
that fire. That's interesting that Andrew and Mrs. Filholm had a hot take on it. And I don't know.
That's exactly right. It just seems just dumb.
I don't know. I think it's interesting. It makes me want to go out and buy a generator and some solar panels.
Does it?
Batteries. Oh,
just
yes.
In general.
Makes
you want to become a prepper like that bad guy?
We checked in a while ago and I was interested in machining and welding.
Mm-hmm.
And my new thing is solar energy and energy storage. I'm watching these videos on YouTube of guys who find old laptop batteries, like thousands of them, and they make their own kind of power wall so that they can store all this energy.
Cool. I helped my dad build solar panels for our house in Arvada, Colorado in like 1983.
It's a really interesting thing, and the technology continues to get less and less expensive.
We're big solar people. I mean, my dad, we grew up with so much solar. I'm not kidding. In Arvada, Colorado in like 1983, my dad took a workshop somewhere, and I went and helped him. It was like a father-daughter thing. I remember it being a little odd. But we built these solar panels, installed them in our roof, and then the Lane family, 5 of us in Arvada, Colorado at a time where this was not popular and people were very much into, think of 80s culture. We were the grooviest, weirdest family. We heated all of our hot water with solar, which meant you didn't always get a hot shower.
Mhm.
It wasn't great. But we heated all of our hot water with solar, and we heated our house, I think I've talked about this, for much of the time with only the wood-burning stove. This is a 2-story, like split-level suburban home where nobody else is doing this. We had big styrofoam panels that my mother cut out and covered with old sheets. Ooh. And we had to, when you'd come home from school, you'd come out and take if you wanted some light, you'd come and take the styrofoam out of the window and you could pull up the blinds for a little bit, but those were going back in at night. It was so smart. We had the most efficient house. I mean, it was like plug up every place and keep this thing warm. We're going to heat it with newspaper logs and pallet wood. We lived like pioneers, and we were not poor. This was just efficient, and it did save money. And I think my parents thought it was green. They were very, very devoted to using less energy. So yeah, solar was a big part of it. We're big solar people. I grew up with that, just thinking, without a doubt, that solar good.
It's been fun for me because in a solar project, I don't know, I've never had any cause to learn about electricity before and the relationship between volts, amps, and watts. AC and DC.
Mm-hmm.
And that solar project is ideal because you've got energy from the sun hitting the panel, creating DC electricity, which can either come in, 12, 24, or 48 volts are the most common kinds of systems. You feed that into your, it can go a couple places at that point. It can go into a battery or it can go into the grid. So you'd have to make it suitable for consumption by the grid. You've got to convert your DC to AC. It's like a nice little, all of the big electrical concepts and topics come into play in a solar system. Storage. It's super fun. And I don't know, it's my current little YouTube rabbit hole.
Have you looked at the big fields and fields of solar panels in India where they're trying to change the whole approach to their grid there?
I've seen, no, I haven't looked into that. It hasn't come up. But I've seen some of these massive solar developments in Nevada and Utah. It is amazing how much land is being committed to, developed for solar energy production.
In college, I took a class on probably energy systems or something, and I remember visiting a couple of houses in Colorado that were super, super solar. I mean, like beautifully architected. It wasn't somebody like my dad putting janky panels on the roof, designed for maximum sunlight in Colorado. And I remember that, just think, someday I would do that. I certainly haven't, but I like it a lot. I like talking about solar power.
Right now, it's good that I'm living in an apartment because if I had a backyard, if I had a garage or a house to put panels on and play around with this stuff, I would be learning very quickly, and I'd probably burn the house down.
Interesting. I should think you could do it with a small kid, even on your little access.
You can do it. You can do
it. You
it.
have a rooftop patio.
Yeah, but it's not, my apartment's not on the rooftop.
I'm just saying, I should think that you should be able to collect. I should think you should be able to play, tiny version, place a panel somewhere and mess around with it.
I totally could.
I mean, but there's only so many hours in the day.
There are. Delaney would not be happy with me if we were the one house on the courtyard with the solar panel hanging off of our...
Why? Why would that matter?
I don't know.
Why wouldn't she be happy with that? That means you're doing a project or you're super green and trying to save the world. I don't see what's
weird.
It's weird.
It's like growing up burning newspaper logs, Mrs. Filholm.
She doesn't care about being weird. Who cares?
Well, she's not dating you.
She doesn't care about you being weird. I don't think that's a thing. I don't see why that's preventing you. By the way, everybody should buy my book. I am going to be thirsty and remind everyone. We already did it at the beginning of the show, but for real, Teenagers Suck.
Where can people find it?
Amazon.com. And then from me pretty soon.
Amazon.com. And if you were going to Amazon.com, are you on the front page? How do you find it once you get to Amazon.com?
I find it Teenagers Suck Filholm at this point, and it's moving up in my search, so hopefully it'll move up as people find it and buy it.
Teenagers Suck by Filholm. Teenagers Suck Filholm?
Okay. I'm just saying those are my search terms. There were commas between. No. It's the title of the book is Teenagers Suck, a memory book for parents during the awkward and awful years. But I find it by search. I don't know, search it. See how quickly it comes up. It'll come up quickly. And by now, certainly it is available. And soon I will be having a launch party where people can buy it from me in person. I don't know if you get free shipping on it or not, but I'm gonna be selling it in person at launch parties and things around in time for Christmas. So that's very exciting.
Kind of a weird episode today, but it's cold outside, and I think we spent a lot of good time talking about weird things. that people think about on cold days when they're cooped up indoors. You can't go out and paddleboard today.
Really, really can't. I do feel like making chili, you know?
Yeah, you made some chili last time. It was super good.
It was good. That's right. We had some. You know what? I'm flying out of town tomorrow. I'll be back by the time this drops, but golly, I think it's going to be done, right? Is this storm? I don't know. I haven't paid attention.
I think it is a quick storm.
It's a quick storm. It shouldn't affect my travel, but I bet it's affecting travel right now, the airport.
Probably.
I would think so. Boy, they're bringing the ruckus in California with those operations.
I'm interested. Maybe by the time this episode comes out, we'll have some answers.
Well, we certainly will, because now I'm going to research it like a fiend while I'm on the airplane tomorrow traveling. That'll be my research project.
That sounds like ruckus.
I know. All right. Bye, Andrew.
Goodbye, Mrs. Filholm.
Shoot, that was real dumb.